Tonight, the grand delusion. Your brain is constantly tricking you into believing in stuff that isn't real. Your every memory, sense of free will, even your self-image, nothing is what it seems.
Welcome to my world of illusion.
Your brain is the most incredible piece of computing hardware. Despite only being the size of a melon, one single human brain is more powerful in terms of memory than all the computers ever made. As well as doing things like making your heart beat and reminding you to breathe, it receives terabits of information every day and instantly processes it so that you're able to make sense of the world around you. However, unlike man-made computers, your brain's constantly editing and altering this information. It creates a picture of the world that is at best subjective. In this world, nothing is as it appears.
Hold on to the board.
Now this is a grilled cheese sandwich. It's a very famous grilled cheese sandwich. Can you see a face in that grilled cheese sandwich? This is a famous grilled cheese sandwich because it appeared in America, well, it was made in America, and people thought they saw the face of the Virgin Mary in the grilled cheese sandwich. Because I suppose we're expected to believe that the Virgin Mary was up there in heaven and woke up one day and said, "Angels, I think I shall appear to my people, the true believers." "Yes, Virgin Mary, where will you appear?" "I think I shall appear in a grilled cheese sandwich." Yeah, what about something else, like a rock or a flower, maybe a cloud? "No, I shall appear in a grilled cheese sandwich." They will not be expecting that. Oh, this stuff happens all the time. It's a very famous grilled cheese sandwich. Have a look at this. It's a picture of the surface of Mars. Can you see the almost spooky depiction of a face carved in rock on Mars, clearly by aliens? There is no other rational explanation for that. That could not happen by accident. The chances of that happening by accident are just infinitesimally small. It must have been carved by aliens. Except that, when they took actually a more modern sort of high-resolution picture of it, it was this. So that's low resolution, high resolution. This is a face that's on Mars as well. To be honest, like, if I'm more able to believe that was done by aliens than the other one. Because if I was an alien, that's the face that I would put there. Like, our senses are completely deluded about all of it. They lead us into seeing things that aren't already there. Our brains are all about finding meaning in things. So what they'll try and do is they'll try and find meaning in a situation that isn't there at all. We've evolved to see patterns everywhere, particularly faces. This is the result of a process called face perception, which is our brains recognising and interpreting human faces and emotions. We can do this pretty much from birth. Research shows that young babies can recognise different mouth and eye shapes with emotions kicking in later. This is vitally important for our social interaction and self-preservation. Without face perception, we wouldn't be able to remember what friends or family members look like, or what strangers' intentions might be. You can tell the difference between a genuine smile and a fake smile at about the same distance you can throw a spear, which is quite useful because because if that little baby, if that was crawling at you, a little smiling baby, you'd think, "Oh, fair enough, come on in, you seem like quite a good little fella." If this one there was a little angry baby crawling across the savannah, you'd be thinking, "I'm not having a bar of that," and you'd be chucking spears left, right and centre. Not now, obviously, not these days, but back then you would, because why would an angry baby be out crawling around the savannah by itself? Like, that in and of itself, that's quite suspicious behaviour. Clearly it's eaten the rest of its tribe and it's advancing towards you, so chuck spears at it. So, like, we can recognise genuine smiles at about that distance, and that makes complete sense when you think about the fact when you encounter a strange tribe on the plains, you've got to sort of work out where they're at. We like to think our senses are accurate, but they're not. Vision especially is often more a constructed figment of our imagination than an accurate reflection of reality. Our eyes are constantly making jerky little movements called saccades, where the eyes fix in one spot for a fraction of a second and move on. These occur about 3 times a second, and we're effectively blind during the movement. We make about 150,000 saccades every day, which means our visual system is effectively offline for up to a couple of hours every waking day. Only it doesn't feel like that. Our brains are constantly filling in for the holes in our perception, and we aren't even aware of what's missing. However, it does mean that we tend to see what we expect and what we attend to. The trouble is, attention is a limited resource, as every magician knows. This is the amazing colour-changing card trick. It's quite simple, really. I'll take this blue back deck of cards and spread them out on the table in front of Anna. Then what I shall do is ask her to choose a card by sliding that towards the camera.
I'm gonna choose this card.
Now, Anna could have chosen any card at all from this deck, but the one that she's chosen is now face down on the table. So what I should ask her to do is to show the camera which card she's chosen.
The card I've chosen is the 7 of clubs.
Now what I shall do is I shall take that card and I shall put it back into the deck. Then spread the deck along the table. Can you see your card there?
I think that's my card there.
Yeah. So, as you can see, 7 of clubs looks the same. Blue back, nothing amazing there. But what is amazing is that all the rest of the cards have now got a red back. And that is the amazing colour-changing card trick. So the cards change colours, but did you notice the other colour changes? There were 4.
The card I've chosen is the 13 of club. There's my card there.
Now, as you can see, this demonstrates how easily the brain can be distracted. Magicians do this all the time. The brain sees what it expects to see and not what's really there, like the gorilla helping out. Is the amazing colour-changing card trick. The world is a complicated and confusing place. Our understanding of it is entirely mediated by our brains. The problem is, our brains aren't that accurate and often don't register what's really going on, which can make life difficult. If you just imagine in your mind a knot, right? Imagine a great big knot. Great big knot. Can't undo the knot, can't undo the knot, can't undo the knot. All right, now, hold your hands out like that. Clap them like that. Now, right one up, left one down. See, everyone got their right one up and their left one down. That's right, you're on telly, make an effort. Do this, right, so we flip them upside down, cross them over like that. Join them like that, interlacing your fingers and clenching them tight like that. Now, right thumb must be on top of the left hand. That's it, so is your right thumb. That's it, good, all right. Now do that, wave your little finger. Now, just do this. Now, you see, that's an example of your brain not completely seeing all that's going on, right? Because this bit here, right, when you're doing this bit, you can try this on people at home. When you get to this bit, then you say, well, hang on, your thing, and then you do that with your other hand. Then you do that, and then you do that. But your brain thinks, what it does is it sees me doing that thing, what a helpful bloke. Like, he's helping the... He's helping the stupid people in the front row. And, like, the people in the front row that got it right are going, what do you mean? Like, it is on the right one. And it misses the fact that I've just done that and turned it back. And like, this stuff happens all the time. Brains don't notice a lot of the stuff that's going on, and some of the stuff that we do notice is completely wrong.
Does it hurt when you take the decay part out?
No, we try hard not to hurt.
Research shows that our brains don't just passively process information, but are constantly predicting what's likely to happen next. These predictions are based on past experiences. The brain simply expects to see something and really just wants confirmation. And memory is how we store our past experiences. We've been studying human memory for as long as we can remember. In ancient Rome and Greece, lawyers and politicians were expected to memorise long, complex arguments, while poets delivered epic works orally as a type of theatre. In fact, Homer may have been illiterate. Hermann Ebbinghaus was a pioneer in the study of memory. He studied the limits of human memory using just one experimental participant, himself. He came to the conclusion that memory is notoriously unreliable after misplacing his research notes on numerous occasions. For Plato, memory was a wax tablet. For Freud, a mystic writing pad. For modern psychologists, a computer or a hologram. The latest technology from each period in history always seems to be the most relevant metaphor for human memory. I've come to Wanganui to meet someone with an amazing memory. Author, lawyer and politician Hamish McDougall. Hamish.
Nigel.
Nigel.
Pleased to meet you. Come in.
So tell us about this memory thing.
It's just something I've had swift recall, I think it is. My wife often will say, oh, what we were doing then, and I'll be able to explain exactly what I was doing at a certain time, and my memory's quite vivid. Yeah.
So she could say, what were we doing 2 years ago today, and you would know?
Within reason, yeah.
Hamish put his remarkable memory to good use in 1989 when he won Sailor of the Century, aged just 19. What would be your sort of area of strength if you were in a pub quiz?
Sports. I love cricket and football, so yeah.
So FA Cup winner, 1972?
Arsenal over... Leeds over Arsenal, 1-0, Alan Clark header.
Everyone knows that, though. I'll give you a hard one. 1984.
Oh, 1984. It's Everton to Watford 0.
Right, could have fluked it. Again, I'll give you another one. So 1970.
70. Oh, 70 was a good one. Chelsea Leeds. It was a replay. I think it was 2-2 in the final at Wembley, and then they played at Old Trafford, and Chelsea won. It was a very violent match.
It might be sport now, but 23 years ago, his specialist subject was a bit different.
Mr. McDougall, your specialist subject in this final of Mastermind for 1990 is the life and works of David Bowie. 2 minutes on that man and his music, starting from now. In which song does Bowie ask, ain't the one damn song that can make me break down and cry?
Young Americans.
Correct. Where was the Ziggy Stardust motion picture filmed?
Hammersmith Odeon.
Correct. How many songs were performed live by Bowie at the 1985 Live Aid concert?
4.
Correct. In which London street...
Hamish went on to win the Mastermind crown.
Mastermind 1990 is Hamish McDougall.
Very impressive, but how much about David Bowie does he still remember now? So what was David Bowie's first album that he released?
Well, his very first album was just called David Bowie, right. And it was released in 1967 on the Duram label.
What was the 6th track?
Oh gosh, that's a bit tough. Oh, it's 20 years ago, Nigel. Probably something like We Are Hungry Men or...
Science doesn't know yet why some people like Hamish have such amazing recall. But they are sure that everyday ordinary memory doesn't work like a digital recorder, playing back past events exactly as they happened. Our brain reconstructs memories. This, coupled with its tendency to edit reality, means the margin of error can be significant. Some research suggests that the very act of remembering can alter the memory. A major event can be played over and over again in our minds. With each repetition, the memory has the potential to be altered.
Father, can we hear the story of how you and Mother first met?
It was the 80s. The hair was big and the music new wave. Your mother and I first met at high school during a Saturday detention. She was rich and popular, while I was a wisecracking tough guy from the wrong side of the tracks. After baring our souls, we soon discovered we had a lot more in common than just the high school archetypes we'd both been playing. We left detention that day as lifelong friends.
That's the plot from The Breakfast Club.
Is it?
You are so lame. Mother, please, the real story?
All right, then. Well, I was custodian of stolen plans when my ship was intercepted by an Imperial destroyer.
Oh, you people are insane. Somebody please tell me I'm a doctor.
You're a doctor.
Carry on, Mother. What happened next?
You have a free will to choose what you would like to do, but on the other hand, we are restricted, of course.
Yes, you have free will to an extent. You can do anything you want as long as you're willing to accept the consequences.
I quite often tell people that they can be or do anything they want. They've just got to decide, choose to want to do it. So that they've got free will to choose what they would like to do. So yes, I think we've got free will.
We like to think we have free will, that we make our own independent choices based on the objective evidence. However, there's lots of research that suggests that our choices are nowhere near as independent or objective as we think. We're constantly making judgment calls based on a distorted worldview our brain creates for us. This idea that we make objective judgments about things, we don't. There are so many recorded biases of things that we do all of the time. You know, something like, I think it's 75% of people think they're better than average drivers. Even people that regularly have car accidents think they're better than average drivers. We think we're better judges of other people's character than we are. We think we're more immune to influence than we actually really are, like in lots and lots and lots of different ways. This idea that we have that we are these sort of neutral and accurate sifters of information in the world are completely, well, they're not completely wrong, but it's not completely right. There are lots of ways that we get that stuff wrong all of the time. If we don't like people, we find information that just confirms our worldview that they're not very likeable people. We do this all the time. You know, people get a bee in their bonnet about particular people and everything they do is wrong. It's not just bias against things we don't like, because even what we do like is influenced by stuff going on that we aren't in control of or even aware of. If you give people, right, if you give people 6 Monet paintings, copies of them, and you say, like, arrange these from your most favourite to your least favourite, they'll arrange it in a wee order like that, from at the top, their favourite, to the bottom, their least favourite, right? Then if you say, look, we've got some spares, so you can keep either the 3rd or the 4th one if you want, right? If you like. You can have one of those. And they say, all right, I'll choose the 3rd one, right? So you then give them the 3rd one, and then you go away for 25 minutes or a week or something like that. And then when you come back and you ask them to rate how much they like the pictures then, they do this. The one they got climbs higher up the list, and the one they didn't get goes lower down the list. So what they do is they convince themselves that the one they got, even though it was quite far down the list to begin with, they actually like that more than it was at the beginning. And the one they almost got, they don't like that anywhere near as much. When you give that stuff to people with amnesia, so people who can't actually, who've been in accidents, who can't remember anything at all, you do exactly the same experiment, give them the 6 pictures, they do exactly the same thing. So they can't remember they've seen the pictures, but even in their brain, they like the one that they got more, and they like the one they almost got but didn't get less. And if you think about the stuff you do in your life, like we do this quite a bit. Our brains are constantly interpreting and editing reality, creating a distorted view of the world. Even then, we often just ignore evidence if it doesn't suit us. We don't always believe what the world tells us. If we don't like the information coming in, we discount it. If you go into the bathroom and clamber up onto the scales and you like what it says, you go, oh, and off you go. If you go into the bathroom and you clamber up on the scales and you don't like what it says, then you start taking stuff off, don't you? And then you think, well, yeah, but I mean, I did have lunch an hour ago, so that was like, well, that must be like about a kilo, couple of kilos. Haven't had a poo since this morning, so that's got to factor for something. I mean, you do, don't you? You actually factor poo into your weight. You find ways to discount stuff that it doesn't agree with or you don't like the message that's coming in. So to sum up, our brains are constantly interpreting and editing reality. They create a wildly distorted view of the world in which we make all sorts of dodgy judgment calls. They've evolved to see things that aren't there and ignore things that are. We like to think we're objective, but we're not. And when it comes to memory, well, we just make stuff up. We can't change any of that, but it does help to keep it in mind. We're all a bit deluded, and that's normal. So that's it. Good night and good luck.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.